What is going on, y'all? Happy Sunday to everybody out there. Do not adjust your laptop. Don't adjust your phone. Don't adjust anything you are seeing or hearing us on. I am J.H. Gibbons,
And as we'll see,
and this is the
the
Achromous
Achromous.
podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, man. Yo, we missed you. We
Yes,
miss y'all. I know it's only been a week, but a week is always too long when you ain't chilling with your friends, man.
absolutely. Yeah, I agree with
Yes.
that. Yeah, it has been a
Yes.
long week, a very,
A
very long
long, stressful, out of this world week. So many different events, so many things to get into, so many things we got into. It was a wild week. But man, you know the one thing I loved about this past week, let me
What
tell
was
you,
that? What was that?
it was that weather. Hey, yo, hey, if you were in Maryland this week, you were loving it. You were loving the 60s. You were loving it being bright outside. It
Yeah,
was sunny. It was amazing. The weather was nice, man. It's weird because there were still some little blocks of snow around, it's still like
yeah,
that hot. But I mean, you in the 60s, Blair, man. It was nice outside. I know you had that one run you were talking to me about on Wednesday where you
yeah.
were like, yeah, I'm gonna do like 3 miles. And then yeah, I'm sitting here like, okay, 3 miles. Never did it in my life. But this guy, 3 miles, it's just my warm up. And then instead you did what, 5? Is that
Yeah,
what you did?
I mean, yeah, I stopped around
Oh,
5,
you
but I
stopped.
mean,
You
a little
stopped
bit
around
more.
5. Okay.
Not to toot my own horn or
Right,
anything
right,
like
right.
that,
But ladies and gentlemen, that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. Tell the guys what you did.
yeah. So I followed that up with a good stretch, and then decided to do another workout. You
Another
know,
one.
another one. So yeah, that one was good.
Another
Yeah,
one.
that was good. Um, yeah. So it turned out to be a really great evening. It was a long day. Needed to decompress it the right way.
Mhm.
I had to utilize some healthy habits that we're gonna get into, and yeah, it pulled through for me, and it
Mhm.
worked. So I was feeling great,
I
just as
mean,
great then as I feel right now.
I love it. And I love it. I'm glad you're feeling great. Look, I'm feeling great. I got this core water here. This, ladies and gentlemen, look, this is not a sponsor. We're not getting paid to tell you this, but
No.
this water is heaven. If you have not tasted how great this water is, you're missing out. Stay away from Dasani. Sorry, Dasani. Or drink this. I've seen it in LA Fitness. I've seen people running outside drinking this. Everybody's hip to how delicious this water is. If you want a water that tastes like nothing, this is the water you need. It hydrates you. It doesn't have that plasticky flavor.
uh,
Doesn't taste like sewage, nothing. It's clear. It's good water.
it is.
Speaking of this water, I'm not afraid to drink it, right? I'm
Mhm.
not afraid to fail drinking this thing because this thing is so great. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it
It's the
is.
best water. It's the best water I've ever had.
I enjoy it too, honestly. There's a few other flavors that come in. There's like this mango
Yeah.
flavor one I tried, and
Okay.
it is a little addicting. I
Yeah.
do kind of enjoy that low key a little bit outside. So it's like
you
I
know,
want like some nothingness of mango.
yeah, yeah. Well, I did. I
So
did
I
see
don't
that.
know.
I did see that,
Mm.
and I was honestly afraid to get into that because I'm like, I'm gonna like this, and then if I like it, I'm gonna now be drinking this all the time instead of just the clear water. I'm gonna be drinking the flavored kind, and I'm like, I know myself. I know we both know how these habits work.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
not even start it. Let's not
very
even
true.
get into it, man.
Very, very
So
true.
I'm just first of all, man, I'm just excited to be here, man. It's another Sunday. God's Spirit Life. We're here. We're doing it. We're rocking. I mean, last week we talked about the fear of failure. As
Yeah,
as you know, I'm not afraid to drink that water. But in terms of having that fear of failing, it's just it's something that is crippling. It's something that holds you back. And I hope for all of you last week, you took that podcast and you ran with it. I hope you took those ideas, you took those methods, you took those strategies, and implement it into your life. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the most important part of doing anything is the action. Forget about the idea, forget about anything we ever say, right? What you need to remember is you got to take action. Period. Period.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. It's imperative to for your own success that you you put forth the action. You know,
Yep.
you create those stepping stones, and nothing takes you know progress unless you actually move and you actually try.
Hmm.
You know, so there's no true sense of failure unless you're just really not trying to apply yourself at all, right? Because you know you're still learning, you're still experiencing. You know, so there's really no L. No one's holding the L. Essentially, you know, you just you grow, you learn, but you gotta take the action. You
Yeah,
gotta try. You know,
absolutely.
you gotta try.
You have to take the action. And for me, one of the easiest actions that I can take every morning, besides reading my devotionals, besides, doing a little bit of meditation, brushing my teeth. And I talked about this last week, and
Pearly whites, guys.
I
Take care of them.
misspoke. I misspoke saying that I did not want you to brush your teeth, and then I reversed on that statement. I want you to brush your teeth. We all should have nice pearly whites, of
Yes.
course. But no, I mean the thing about brushing my teeth, honestly, and this, man, this goes against everything that I actually wanted to say tonight. But in the past, I was not really fond of brushing my teeth. And when
Really?
I say past, I mean like far, far past. I'm not talking about
Okay.
like 20. No, I mean like when I was a kid. When you're a
Uh-huh.
kid and you see it as a chore, maybe you don't build it as a habit for yourself, and you're just,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? You just got to go in the bath. Yeah, do this, do man. You got to get the Listerine and the floss and all that stuff. And for me at that age, it was just obnoxious. It was just something I didn't do, and it was bad for me. I was not confident in my smile. This smile, you see, it's not fake, but it took a lot of work to get to this point. And it took a lot of work for me to be confident in my smile, be confident in speaking. You know what I'm saying? I'd get teased in middle school and even high school about having crooked teeth, and the shading on the front was a little bit yellow. But it was because I built a habit that was not healthy. It was because that particular habit at that time molded me. It gave birth to who I was at the time, and it was just somebody who didn't really care about his appearance at all. Didn't take the time to look in the mirror. Didn't take the time to love himself as a kid. I was really, really chunky. I was the shorter guy. My voice was not as deep as this. So I'm talking like this, and everyone's making fun of me, and
mm,
what I'm saying, my smile was not on point. So all of those things kind of molded into this like really scared sort of ball of a child. And part of that habit was just not taking care of myself. Didn't care how my hair looked. Didn't really even care to shower sometimes. Didn't care to
mm.
brush my teeth. I didn't do any of that. And um you know for me at that time, now that I know how, now I'm looking back on it as an adult, at that time I built a habit, and that habit molded who I was at that particular time, and molded a portion of my childhood, not the whole childhood. No, that didn't last that long, because I was able to get out of that funk, thanks to great friends and great people, and just learning how to appreciate myself, appreciate life.
Mhm.
But at the time, man, yeah, I mean, that habit of not really, quite frankly, giving a shit about myself. It really hurt me at the time. But I'm glad now that I've been able to see my worth and understand it, and know where I want to go in life, know who I want to be, where I want to be. And I'm able to understand how habits are molded, how habits are built, how they can be replaced, and I have a whole new lease on life.
That's awesome. That's really awesome for you to share that. I didn't know that, you know,
Yeah, no,
like
I,
as in depth with that. So
that's
this is new to me.
yeah,
For someone that's been
yeah,
knowing this gentleman for a quarter, more than a quarter of my life.
yeah,
Uh, so
yeah.
appreciate you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely,
If anything, for me, like hearing that, it really drives home the fact of like it doesn't matter how old you are, um, or like any point of your life where you know it's important to create those healthy habits from what I'm hearing because as a child to a degree for me I'd say it was the opposite of that, like where I was raised a certain way where you know it was embedded into my process of like you get out the bed, you make up your bed, you brush your teeth, you do all of these things consistently. And I think, like you, as you said, you referenced it from a seen it as a chore perspective. For me, I didn't necessarily see it like that. I just kind of fell in line. I just kind of did what I was told to do in that way, and it just became repetitive without me realizing those habits were being formed. So
Mm,
those are sort of some of those sort of instances with those sort of habits follow me throughout my life where that those things haven't changed, where it's
right,
like that's what I do.
right,
Um, but hearing other parts of it where you know not really having structure to really maintain those habits, and how it affected you, uh, is really important to know and to hear, because I really think it drives home the fact of like being able to keep yourself restrained, focused, and disciplined, and determined to set um, healthy habits for yourself that is going to be beneficial to you. But again, as you stated, which is clearly a good point to bring up, is the self worth, self love aspect,
right.
because it was about you and how you felt, and what it took for you to get to the point of where you are now. To be content and happy with yourself, but
Right,
that is also because you now have habits.
right.
So I would say for you, um, like like when it comes to habit, like what would you really kind of define that as? Like for those out there who
Mm,
want to interpret it the way that we hope to bring it across,
yeah.
right? So what is that for you? What is habit building for you look like?
I mean, in my own words, like habit building for me looks like it looks like a repetitive action for a purpose. Now, sometimes that purpose might be negative. Sometimes it might not even be known to you that you're doing something, but there's always a purpose as to why something is now a thing that you go to. It could be, maybe if you're stressed out, you have a smoke and that helps you. It's funny because even the act of smoking, besides putting it in your mouth and it's like you're inhaling, right? You is what you do. And
Mm,
that right there is pretty similar to meditation
mm.
without, of course, the cigarette in your mouth. You're
Interesting.
inhaling, you're
Yeah,
exhaling, you're breathing deeply.
yeah, you're right.
And so that sort of thing, I know for some smokers, it's something that helps them de-stress. It helps them calm down. It helps their anxiety. But on the flip side, it's not good for your lungs. It's not good for your brain. It's just we know it. I'm not going to go into the details on what smoking does, but in terms of habits, there is a specific action that you're taking that again may be may not be known to you specifically, but the action that you're taking has become an outlet. It's become an escape for you. It's become something that is second nature. It's something that you don't have to think about doing. It's your go-to. You know,
Mm,
sometimes when I'm on the phone with my fiance, there are times where she may be speaking and I might speak, and then she may start speaking while I'm still speaking, and that's something we talk about all the time, and I do it too. So it's not fault to her, but it's something that I look at and say, okay, is there a habit? An example would be like this: is there a habit that I have to try to get my point across and not necessarily listen to somebody else's point because I already believe that my point is correct? Is there
mm,
something in the past that has made me feel like I'm not as intelligent if I'm trying to get my point across, or maybe, at the time I wasn't taken seriously. So now I have a habit of, trying to speak over people or trying to always make myself look like I'm right, even if I'm not, and I think, going back to what I believe and just in my opinion, what a habit looks like and how, somebody, one of you guys out there can look at it. It's something that you start, you do constantly, and it becomes a repetitive action for a specific purpose.
I think that's well said. I think it's a great good great definition of what a habit, um, and you know your interpretation of what that means to you. I think for me, it falls along the same lines, and it's just really just kind of, as you just stated a moment ago, just kind of becoming aware in the habits that you formed, albeit good or bad habits for yourself.
Yeah.
I think the example of like inhaling was a great example of I mean, you don't want to you know say anything wrong to anyone out there that is smoking. It's a personal choice, of course.
Right. Absolutely.
um,
Mhm.
but as an alternative of something you can do where it's less detrimental to your body, that is a good example of it.
Mhm.
And as we speak on that, for me, I would like to kind of shift it more towards, I'm in, like physical, health and awareness is really big with me
Right.
at this point in my life. So uh, I guess for me, uh, it would be sort of the opposite as it was for you as a child, where as an
Mhm.
adult, getting to a certain point in my life where, life events and experiences that I was having, albeit relationship or, through work, friendships, whatever, was affecting my ability to be mindful of generating healthy habits for myself,
Mhm.
right? Where I had those preset disciplined mindset approach of like habits of make your bed, brush your teeth,
Right.
the basics of in that regard for
Right.
me. But far as other aspects of life and just, learning to really uh, hold on tight to those qualities that I thought were really good habits to build, pay more attention to the habits that really weren't so great for me. Um, and in understanding that, realizing that, hey, you know what, change need to happen.
Mhm.
But it only took it. I didn't really realize that until it was kind of like forced that I had to change. So in doing so for me, like I like I reiterate to a big point in my life, the last year or so, where it was like, you know, you know, life events happen, my life
Mhm.
changed instantly. So it was like, okay, um, reevaluate yourself. What are you doing, and where do you want to go? And then habits of creating things that is going to help accelerate me and send me on the right path for me is what I realized needed to happen. Um, I'll give an example of what I'm doing now, as far as physically, and being in a situation where I was doing essentially what I'm doing now, but my mindset and the way of the habit that I was creating wasn't healthy as opposed to my approach to it now.
Mhm.
So before, I was at a point where, I went through, tragedy. I lost one of my best friends.
Mhm.
This was, this is a few years ago, and when it happened, um, trying to learn how to cope with it for me um, was through the form of, working out and releasing the anger and the hurt and the the frustrations of it. So I would try to transform that energy and creating a habit of I'm going to work out and that's how I'm going to get through it.
Mhm.
However, um, where it wasn't as healthy was the psychological aspect of it for
Mhm.
me because I was transmitting my pain in a way where yeah I wanted it to come through my body, but at the end of the day, even though I was in great shape then, I didn't feel too great inside.
Mhm.
It was actually not really helping me.
So you
Um,
didn't heal. You wouldn't say you healed at that time from that traumatic experience.
at that time, going through it, no, not I wasn't going about it the right way. And then, factor that in where I had other big losses consistently, and it was just
Mhm.
like, wow, like it just takes a lot out of you. So I subconsciously build habits that weren't healthy to
Mhm.
deal with it,
Right.
where what I started out doing with like physical activities, trying to kind of migrate into me starting to eat more,
Mhm.
me get more into my work, like for my job. Just
Mm.
it just kind of took me in ways where it just created like unhealthy habits where I just
Mhm.
stopped focusing on me.
Mhm.
Um, so when fast forward to this part of my life where uh, you know, cataclysm happened, and
Mhm.
it was time for something new.
Mhm.
And the difference is between then and now was my mindset. Uh, was I guess I was ready, and I
Mhm.
had to realize that in order for me to uh, create the right type of habits, I had to start really learning myself and how to love myself the right way. Um,
Mhm.
to see my worth through it, not through pain, not through hurt, but just find the joy in me and do it for me and transcend like all of those things that I thought was healthy before.
Right.
So now my approach to it is being mindful in that, like, why am I doing this thing as far as, the way I, when I work out consistently, like we were talking
Mhm.
earlier, what's my purpose
Mhm.
for it, right? So
So
now I have
defining
purpose.
goals. That's what. That's okay.
So that's where I'm at with it now,
Mhm.
and it has become like a set standard of habits that I build and that I use as a way to keep me in line to not lose focus again,
Mhm.
and not lose myself. So I kind of formulated this system, if you will,
Mhm.
uh, where I thought about it and I strategically put a time frame in place in my mind of how can I assure myself that I'll stay the course? How can I discipline and train myself to build a new habit
Mhm.
that is a healthy one for me, and one that's going to allow me to hold myself accountable?
Right.
So I formulated this habit that I like to call the 21-3 method.
Hmm.
Um, so it's really simple. It's so when I decided that I wanted to, since we're using fitness as an example,
Right.
I wanted to get myself back in good health, inward and outward. As far as the physical aspect of it, I said, you know what? I'm going to set up a system in place where I give myself 3 weeks straight. Ideally, you can
Mhm.
extend it to a month, but 3 weeks straight, 21 days. It should take me that time frame to create a new habit of my choosing.
Hmm.
What that consists of, for example, again, uh, like Jay said earlier, which was a great example, brushing your teeth, right? Or in my instance, I would stray away from that because I know that's kind of been a topic lately. Hashtag brush your teeth. I'm gonna go with making your bed because that's something that is
It's a good
big for
one.
me.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So let's say that you're always in a go, you're always in a rush, and you never really have time to do that consistently, right?
Mhm.
So if you apply 21-day logic of each day consistently making your bed,
Mhm.
by the time you've hit the 21st day, it's habitual. Like you're not going to think about it.
Right.
It's just embedded in you to do so.
Mm.
Um, and that's when like it's a part of a lifestyle for you.
Mm.
It's no longer something that you have to force yourself into doing because you're manifesting, an impulse to do something that's beneficial for you.
Mm.
How is this beneficial for you?
The
You
beauty, the
mentioned.
beauty of that. Sorry to cut you off there, but
Mhm,
the beauty of that is that you like when the time when you aren't able to do your bed, you feel like your entire day is thrown off. Right? That's what habits do. It's like when you've been doing this for, for 21 days straight, every single morning, as soon as you get up, boom, you turn off your alarm clock, you get out of bed, you fold your sheets, you make up your pillow, you do all that every day for 21 days. If there's any day in that or after that, for example, say the 22nd day, you're in a rush, you're late for work, your alarm didn't go off, whatever, your entire day is thrown off because that one habit that you were building upon has now been disrupted. So now you find yourself trying to get back into that center, into your zone, into that path that you have created in those 21 days. So
yes.
I love that about habits, and us being able to teach you about habits is a great thing for you to understand. I mean, I say this all the time, but I mean, habits are the key to your future. They're the key to your they're the reason you are where you are now, and they will be the reason They will be where you go in the future. Whatever you decide that you want to be in the future, your habits will be the foundation of that.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And hey, there's the other side of this as well,
Mhm.
where there's the three, you know. So what Jay just said is touch base on that, where it allows you to give yourself some flexibility. Where if you accomplish the 21 day, but you know, life happens, right? So realistically speaking,
Mm.
uh, if you are able to hit it, great. But what happens if you don't,
Mhm.
right? At that point, the three is designed to give you a 3 day grace period, if you will, where
Mhm.
you are consciously aware that you have to impose um, that will to get back into your routine,
Mm.
right? So like
It's important.
maybe on the 22nd day you missed it.
Mhm.
You were in a rush in the morning. Maybe your alarm didn't go off for whatever reason. You got to get out and get going. Okay,
Right.
that's fine. So, you know, you come home, get situated. The idea is that you say, hey, I couldn't make my bed in the morning. What was the cause? Why couldn't I have done it? What happened the day prior that prevented me from being able to do so?
Do you think that people listening should write those type of things down on no, on that 3-day period on that first day or something, consciously be aware as to why you did not fulfill that habit, why, what took you off of that path? Do you think writing down things and journaling, all that stuff, is important to keep track of where you are?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to you know, to just kind of, you know, have all that put together and you know, you can refer back to it to say, okay, yeah, I didn't do it this time, and I know why I didn't do it because maybe you may have an unhealthy habit in between that's preventing you from being able to do it.
Yeah.
So it's healthy to maybe consider, even if you don't have a chance to write that down, like lock it in, like some in some way that you'll be able to remember it, that you can refer back, so that as you enter that second day of the 3 day period where you're like, all right, um maybe something different happened, maybe something serious took place, that you just, maybe you weren't home, maybe something that, you know, okay, it took you out of your normal pattern. But ideally by the third day, this is where you put your foot down. This is where you take the action necessary to ensure whatever you need to do that's within your power. You're going to have yourself set up nicely so that you can make yourself accomplish what you need to restore your habit so that you don't break it. Because, for example, with fitness, what happens, right? Everyone, for the most part, New Year resolutioners, that they hit up the gym.
God, they crowd the gym so often. It just upset. Look, I love you guys. I love you
Hey,
guys, but
yeah, we love you guys. So,
oh my God,
but hey,
please,
you know, some of you out there, this is your thing. This is your niche. You do it every year, right? And that's
every
cool.
year, every year.
But just think about that from this perspective, right? Yeah, let's say you're doing it, you're going like 2, 3 weeks consistently,
Yep.
and then you hit a bump where maybe you say, I'm going to treat myself. I'm not going to go work out today. All right, that's fine. And then the next day, I'll go hang out with my friends, go eat, you know. There's always tomorrow.
Hmm.
Third day come. By that point, once you've missed that, it's no longer really embedded into you. And yeah, you have to really be mindful of it.
Mm.
And if you and what does happen is you have to have a strong mindset, strong will to get yourself back into that habit. So
Hmm.
for me, if I've missed that process, I got to hit a 21-day stretch to get me back to where I need to be.
Hmm.
Ideally, I may not need the 21 days because I've grown with my mental capacity and strength is at a high that, you know, my determination will get me going. But you just never know with life events and how you're feeling. You know, you have to do the work inward to make sure that the habit that you're generating for yourself is still of your purpose, for
Hmm.
one, and then two, you know, is going to keep you consistent on the road that you need to be better for you.
Yeah.
So it's really big with me in like how I approach the habit, where I use it. I feel like you can use it in different variations of ways, but the main way that I want to reference of using it right now is through my fitness. So I that's what I did. I made sure that I set myself for 21 days,
Mm.
hold myself accountable. I don't care what it is. I made myself say, hey, at minimum, I'm doing 30-minute workout. I don't care what time of the day it is.
Right.
That's up to me to decide.
Right.
And with COVID, it's like, hey, there's no gym really at the time, so I'm like, oh man, like, okay, what am
Gotta
I
do
gonna do?
something. Yeah.
So then I just started, creating different methods of working out, like little things, and then I would go for my jog, as my infamous story uh, about that by now. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
went for my
Yeah.
jog and just kind of start creating, um, sort of like systems in place to kind of maintain that 21-day goal. And by
Mhm.
the time I got to that second week, transitioning to hit that 21 day, it was just like it was becoming like a normal. Like I felt weird if I didn't do what I needed to do because it was for me.
Mhm.
So a lot of times it's easier for us to do something for someone else than for ourselves,
Right.
right?
That's
So it's
very true.
like
Yeah.
it goes back, to how much are you loving you? How
Yeah.
much do you care about you? How much are you investing time into yourself
Exactly.
because you're worth it? So I started to try to keep that in mind in the process. And what I did as well in that process was started to create affirmations for myself,
Mhm.
telling myself things that was going to allow me to know my worth through this process that I hold on to. Even to this day, while I'm working out or I'm running, I say them.
Right.
Like because I have to love me. I have to give that to me, and no one else can do that for me.
Yeah.
So it allows me to realize that I'm worth it, as I am, and I'm going to build the habits to invest into me so that I can continue to be who I am today and be better. Because it's infectious. It's easy like to create habits that are not necessarily the best for you, but then it also is a ripple effect to that as well, to those that you care about, right, that's
Mhm.
around you. They see it, they see your moves, they see how you are, and you just really really want to just be mindful of what you're doing for you.
Right.
So I think for what I've used, and it has been successful for me with the 21 day 21-3 method, it allows you to have focus if you dedicate yourself and you're consistent with what it is, and then you have realistic room where, hey, I'll give myself a 3 day stretch. I've
Mhm.
got to get it done by whatever it is by that third day. I don't have the option of not accomplishing what I need to stay the course and what habit I'm trying to create for me. So I feel as though if you can incorporate that or give it a try, see how that works for you. There's definitely more detail within this method, and this is something that we'll share with you for future reference, and we'll
Right.
make sure we have avenues and channels where I can really kind of explain that. Jay can explain that part of it as well, and we can give you even more tools to be successful with it, because there's definitely a lot more to this process that I do, but the overall concept of it is holding yourself accountable
Mm.
for you because you're worth it, and you start building these habits. For example, maybe reading, maybe that's something you want to get into. 21 days to focus on reading a book. Start out small, but every day that you read a chapter. Before you know it, it's going to become second nature.
I
I
can.
say that because that's what I'm doing now.
I was right
That's
about to.
something I'm working on for my 21, and
Right
it's
about to
working for
say
me.
that. I was right about to say that. I'm reading. I'm actually reading The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, I believe is his name.
Mm,
I highly recommend that book. It's a really interesting read. It talks
mhm,
about productivity, talks about habits, it talks about trying to cut out the fat in your life, so to
mhm,
speak, and really focus on your goals. And it's again, it's a great read, but going back to your point with making something a habit, and it does require that discipline. It does require that mindset. It requires that thought process to say, I'm going to do this. I mean, it's just what I'm going to do. And then knowing that, in about 21 days, it literally is part of who I am. It's kin to brushing my teeth. It's kin to showering. It's kin to doing anything that I would do without thinking. It's kin to blinking, breathing, all of
mhm.
that stuff. Like that's how part of reading for 30 minutes a day is of my life.
Awesome, awesome. See, so I mean, that's a good example
Mhm.
as any where, as I said, I think it's applicable to a lot of different areas and aspects of life of how you decide you want to go about it. Creating a habit, or hey, even breaking an unhealthy habit as
Mm.
well, which
Yep.
that holds true as well too,
Mhm.
because even for the process of me doing this, where what I decided to do, and I think I should state this: I'm not on any sort of diet. I didn't
Mhm.
put myself on any diet through this process of me, taking care of myself and loving myself. What I
Right.
did do was cut things out that I chose that I didn't want to have anymore. So, for
Mhm.
example, the sodas, those soda carbonated drinks, I don't drink them anymore.
Right.
That was a part of that process. It wasn't easy initially, because I did like my was it orange? Was it orange vanilla Coke?
Mm.
Uh, I loved my certain
Yeah, yeah,
drinks,
that's
or like
yeah,
Pepsi.
that's
Like, oh, it was, it was like, oh man, like I didn't really look at it as like oh man, I really can't have it, but it was like
mm,
oh okay, I gotta let that go,
mm,
like because it isn't healthy for my skin. My skin's breaking out a lot, and I just gotta, I want to clean my body a bit. So I substituted it with certain things where I said, okay, I'll allow myself to drink. I need to drink more water, of course.
mhm,
I drink more tea.
mhm,
Um, uh, I have incorporated like probiotic drinks into my regimen. What I didn't do before, fiber drinks. So it's just different things that I started to do. Antioxidant drinks as well, like to cleanse my body because
mhm,
I'm worth it. So that became a part of the 21-day process where I start taking parts out, adding things in. So
mhm.
that there's a balance to it. So I don't feel as if I'm missing one thing or another in a certain way.
Mm. I
You see
like
what I
that.
mean?
I
There's
like that.
levels to it.
That's
So it's
smart.
like,
That's smart.
right. So those are
Yeah.
things that, we'll break
Mhm,
down more in detail. But
mhm,
just to give you an example where it's like you just have to be mindful of that process, and really meticulously go about whatever it is, because maybe it may be a significant big one. For example,
mhm,
maybe someone out here may decide, you know what, I'm gonna try that approach with like maybe smoking, right?
mhm.
I can't say I haven't utilized that tool for it.
Right.
But I mean, I think, that this is a good opportunity to see if that's something that, if someone who's been trying, create certain methods and find alternatives to kind of help
Mhm,
to ease that process and
mhm,
keep you consistent.
mhm.
And mind you, you have that 3-day method, but you gotta stand the course and stay
Yeah.
firm to yourself to get to there and then see where it takes you.
And I did mention meditation only because if you are replacing meditation or deep breathing exercises with smoking, there is a bit of an overlap, as I demonstrated with the so even me putting my fingers to my mouth, it it's telling my brain that okay, there might be something at my mouth and I'm holding it and I'm blowing it out. I'm blowing the smoke out, but none of that is there. But the one thing that does remain is that deep breathing. And that deep breathing is very beneficial to your body. It's beneficial to your mind, to your spirit, your overall health. It definitely does de-stress you, and it's without the use of a cigarette. So that right there is a perfect example of using the 21-3 method to try to remove the habit or replace the habit of smoking. It's to perform another action that is pretty similar to what you do, but is not as damaging to the body.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's, a huge part of what we want to kind of focus, with this episode, is to understand habits in itself and kind of good qualities of them and things that kind of like are detrimental to you, where, with the right tools in place, you can create the right habits to
Mhm.
to to, to mold what you need for you as
Yep,
an individual, to because it's all about growth, right? It's all about
absolutely,
loving yourself, really loving yourself. So
absolutely.
what steps do you take to ensure that you are properly taking care of you and loving you first?
Mhm.
So, I think with that being said, Jay, I would love to challenge our, Chromas fan. I would love to
Challenge.
challenge you guys out there to, try to implement something of a 21-3 method, where you try to, break a pattern of something that you have that's a habit that is not as good for you.
Mhm.
And in doing so, find something on the opposite scale that you can do that is healthy. I think we gave a good example, maybe reading a book,
Yep.
or maybe if you're really into, work so much, I don't know, if you got a game system, pick up a joystick.
Mhm.
Like something that could balance out your life,
Yep.
something that's going to balance you on a scale to keep you in a good state of being,
Yeah.
keep you growing, keep you happy and filled with joy and loving you and making time for you in that way. So, hey, I want to know if you guys out here up to the challenge. Um, if you are, please drop below into the
Mhm.
comments and let us know
Yep.
what you're willing to give a try. And there's no such thing as failing if you're trying, right? So, apply yourself, push yourself, because this is all about growth. Because remember
Yep.
what we said at the beginning of this episode, like, you got to take the first step. So this is an opportunity to grow with yourself, grow with the Achromous community, with the Achromous family, and yeah, I'm curious to see what people out there has to say and what ways that you're going to challenge yourself. What ways you're going to challenge? What do you think,
Yeah.
Jermaine?
I mean, as we said, man, it does require action. And a lot of the times we may go to bed and think about, oh, tomorrow's gonna be the day, man. I'm gonna kick ass. I'm gonna switch this up. I'm gonna hit the gym. I'm gonna go do running. I'm gonna do XYZ. And then what happens is after a while it just fades because the gym gets harder. You have to work later, you're not as energetic or excited to go run, and then you're right back to square one. I can tell you again that we can lead a horse to water, but we can't make it drink. We can give you all of these ideas, all of these strategies, all of these methods that are top notch methods. They make sense. Tell us if they don't. Be real with us. If you don't see how this method could work for you, let us know. Let us know. But I can guarantee you, if you take the action required to be able to benefit from the healthy habits you implement in your life, I can guarantee you it will change your life. The proof is right here. This man right here change his habitual behavior. How much weight did you lose, Will? How much now?
I as of now, and I got on the scale a little earlier. I weighed about 185. So I went from the biggest I've been, which I was probably like up to like 260 something.
260 to 185.
Yeah, yeah,
Right there.
yep.
Use the method. Use
Using the
the
method.
method.
Yes.
This is we're not this is not a lie. He used it. Go look at his personal IG if you don't believe.
Yes.
Go look at his
Yep.
personal Facebook. You'll see the size difference. You'll see the change. Look at ours. Look at Achromous. Look at the stories. Look at the posts that we have. You'll see him constantly running. You'll see him constantly sweating, working out, constantly doing all of these things because of that method. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. If you act on what you say, if you use the discipline required to build these habits, it will change your life. It will become part of your life, but you have to act.
Yeah.
You have to act. The strategies, the plans, none of that shit's going to work if you don't act. You have to be the one to implement it.
Absolutely. And if the only thing I'd love to add to that is because you're worth it.
Yes.
You are so worth it. We
Yes.
are
Know
so
your worth.
worth it. That's
Know
one
your
thing
worth.
that I learned.
Yep.
Someone important taught me that, and that sticks
Mhm.
with me, and that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
Gotta know your worth.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, you're worth it, and that's it. Bottom line, because you're here.
Yes. We're
Um,
here.
you're here.
You're still here. It's a Sunday and you're able to hear us. You're
Yeah.
able to see us. You have life, you have vision, you have ear, you have hearing, you have all of these things.
Yes.
Be
Yes.
gracious.
Yeah.
Love it. Love
Love
yourself.
yourself.
Yes.
Love yourself,
Come
people.
on, man. Love
Absolutely.
yourself.
Yeah.
I love you.
There we
Love
go.
yourself.
There you go.
Love yourself,
That's
man.
that right there. And
Yes.
you can't help but smile. I know. I feel it. It's
Yes.
infectious. You guys, you got to be feeling that.
Exactly.
And see, so now
Come
you have
on,
that.
man.
You have that energy, that motivation to the will to
Mm-hmm.
want to do it. So now this is the time to create the healthy habits to hold on to that.
Yes.
Hold on to it and
Mm-hmm.
see where it takes you. Because that's what I do every day. And it's taking me places I never even thought I'd go be. In
Yes.
my state of mind first.
Yes.
And I'm at peace and I have joy.
Oh my God.
And no one and nothing could take that from you.
No one. When you're
So
just that strong mentally,
yeah,
the
yeah,
game is a wrap. Let's
absolutely.
go. Yes.
You
Jeez.
smile different, man. You smile different when it's coming from your soul. So
Don't you, man?
yeah, you smile different.
Yes.
Absolutely, man.
Oh my goodness.
So I think with that said, we'll go ahead and I think it's time to come to the conclusion. We know
Yeah,
what needs
oh,
to be
man.
done. We're looking forward to those comments.
I know.
I guess we'll give you kind of an insight on what's going on next week.
Yeah, I feel so sad to cut this off, man, because this
Yeah.
is such an intense conversation,
Hmm.
and I really hope y'all are loving this. That
Yeah.
we're loving giving it to you, and we're
Absolutely.
gonna we do this every Sunday. This is a habit. This this podcast is a habit.
Exactly.
It's literally a
Exactly.
habit.
It is.
We've
It
not
is a
missed
habit.
a single episode, and we don't plan on doing so. We do this
Absolutely.
every single Sunday,
Yep.
regardless of the circumstances. We are going to show up every single Sunday for you,
Yep.
every single Sunday. And we are going to communicate the way that we're communicating. It's real, it's raw, it can get emotional at times,
Yeah.
make you smile, it can make you cry. And that's why we are here. And I think communication itself is so important because if we didn't have this mic, if we didn't have these cameras,
Mhm.
this light, you wouldn't be able to see us, you wouldn't be able to hear us. And I fully believe that being able to hear someone, especially someone who's important to you, someone's close to you, and when I say hear, maybe here's the wrong word. I'm talking about listen.
Yeah.
When you listen to somebody else who's close to you, when you're listening actively to somebody who may be explaining how they may feel a certain way, or they're trying to express themselves in a certain way, it's important for you as a partner or friend or whatever to listen closely. So next Sunday, I want you guys to tune in because it's going to be a very important episode. It's going to be so important that man, if you miss it, it's it's just going to suck for you. I personally don't know what else to say about that. It's just not going to be good for you. The importance of
Yeah.
communication in relationships. I'll
Yeah.
just leave that there. Just the importance of communication in relationships. Tell me if you cannot relate to this. I dare you to tell me that because I know you can. We all can.
We all can.
We all
Absolutely.
can. So
Yep.
next Sunday, we'll see JH Gibbons. We want you to tune in,
Yes.
hear about the
Yeah.
importance of
Yes.
communication in relationships.
Absolutely. We'll be waiting for you guys because that is a lot to touch base on. And as you know, it can go a lot of ways. So we're going to be definitely bringing it. We're going to definitely
Mhm.
bring and just express it to the best of our abilities. And we're going to be looking forward to you giving that back to us.
Absolutely.
So it's all about growth. It's all
Yes,
about growth,
all
man.
about growth. And hey, we even got a little surprise for you next week. It's gonna knock your socks off. It's gonna be a celebration. It's gonna be fun, man. It's another journey. Another 365 days through and another 365 to conquer. My man Will C's going up in the world, ain't you?
Yeah, yeah. Be fortunate enough, the grace of God, to see that time.
Hmm.
Another year.
Hmm.
I'd be 34, going on
Wow.
21.
Wow.
So
Amen to that.
yeah, so I mean, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
it. I'm looking
I
forward to
am. I am.
it,
This is
and sharing it with you all.
hey, this is another reason why you can't miss it. I mean, it's gonna
Yeah,
it's gonna be action packed. We would love for you guys to join us, and we are thankful. We are so thankful, and we mean this from the bottom of our hearts. We're so thankful that you join us every Sunday just to watch this. Forever
absolutely,
thankful. So
absolutely. We love every second with you. We
yes,
love all of the
absolutely.
feedback that we're receiving.
Oh yeah, it's
um,
been
and
tremendous.
and thank you guys because you're adding to the habit of us ensuring that we are here with you on this movement and we
Yep,
keep it going.
yep,
So thank you.
absolutely. Thank you so much. I want you to enjoy this Sunday. Enjoy your week. Remember about finding some way to disrupt that bad habit. Find something else to
Please,
replace it with.
there you
It
go.
change your life forever. And until next week, I am J.H. Gibbons.
And we'll see. Peace.
Peace.